For this project, you're going to need the following supplies. You're going to need the handout that you made with words of people who support you, some extra paper, a wooden block, some foam and scissors, and some stamp pads. A helpful tip is when you start cutting, cut from the corner of your foam. That way you've got more if you need it. Cut any kind of shapes or lines. They can be abstract. They don't need to be big. They actually need to be pretty small. After you've got your pieces cut, you're going to start sticking them on your wooden block. Mine don't have the sticky back, so I had to use a little bit of glue. If they overlap the edges of your block, you need to trim it down because any parts that overlap might interfere with your stamp. You can add any design to any side. Again, it doesn't have to be anything that looks like anything. It can just be shapes or lines, anything that's kind of abstract. As you're sticking your pieces on the different sides of your cube, you may not even use all of your designs. You may decide that you like a certain one the best, or maybe just a few, but that's okay. You may create a stamp that is something you might want to use in a project later, or maybe you want to make multiple examples of this project and change up the shapes that are being used. Once you've got all of your sides of your cube done, make sure that your foam pieces are stuck down really well. You might want to decide to keep your scraps. They may be something you might want to use in another project, or if you've got another cube, you can create more patterns for your stamps. Now the fun part is testing out your stamp. So try to see what the different sides look like, how much pressure you need to apply, which colors you like best. You can try turning each stamp to a different direction, rotating it and seeing what it looks like when it's printed. If you have any little specks that show up from another stamp on one of the other sides, you can trim that off while you're practicing. If you decide you like a certain stamp but you want to change the color, then a wet paper towel on a paper plate is an easy thing to use to clean off your stamp. Just tap it down on the wet paper towel a few times. Once you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, then get a clean sheet of paper and start creating your background. We're going to be using our words on top of this design. For now, we're just creating the background. I decided I liked these three sides of my stamp the best, and the colors that I had used to create a pattern of color and designs. Your pattern doesn't have to be quite so organized. If you choose for a different design, you can have them all over your page. They can be random. You're just trying to create an interesting background. I liked the organized pattern of rows and columns. I felt like it would be easier to read my words and still see the background if it was kept kind of simple. And after you've completed your background, it's time to choose the words from your page that you created earlier. I chose 5 words, one from several different groups of people who support me. I went back to my practice page because I wasn't really sure how I wanted to arrange them. You can change the size of the lettering, the direction of the lettering, the type of lettering you use, from print, block print, lowercase, uppercase, kind of a script. You can also change the thickness of the lines, making some thin, some really thick. You can change the color of your marker. I wanted just the big, bold black marker since my background was so colorful. I decided that I was going to use a rock for a person who is like a rock in my life. They're steady, they're strong, they're always there. And then you can, like I said, change the direction, change the type of lettering that you're using. And it doesn't even have to be a single word. On this one, I was referring to one of my best friends who always goes the distance for me. If you're not really good at different kinds of lettering, then maybe just add little embellishments to your letters to spice them up. I added some dots on the left side of each letter on this word. You can add lines here and there. You can add arrows. You can add little triangles, just different things to kind of dress up your lettering and make the words as interesting as your background. Once you're all done, you've got a beautiful work of art that is using your own unique stamps and words that are representative or symbolic of people who support you in your life. And so, a very unique piece that hopefully has a lot of meaning to you personally.